So, we're 5 months into the year and things have been going suspiciously okay recently. There don't seem to have been any major new problems happening, at least in the West. So yeah, things are generally going smoothly. We're all learning to adapt with whatever this world is these days, and in some way, that can be seen as a good thing. But for me, that's not necessarily the case. Hello and welcome to this monthly review. This is the month of May I'm going to be talking about. Have I achieved any of my goals? What's my progress like? Well, let's talk about it. As usual, my main goals are based around health, wealth, and personal development. But there are a few extra things I'd like to talk about towards the end. Things that have been on my mind. So I'll try not to get too distracted to drag this out for too long. So yeah, let's start off with health. I've been continuing with my sleep routine of getting up at 4:20 every morning, and it's been going okay. I get up this early for a number of reasons actually. The first one is so I can get to the gym while it's nice and quiet. The second one is because now that I've stopped drinking, it's been really difficult to actually get to sleep at night and get up in the morning. So I really wanted to be in a routine so I wouldn't be lying in bed at night for hours just worrying about things. Once you do get into a good routine, then it's quite easy just to drift off in 10-15 minutes or so. And that has been the case until recently. So in the UK, we're having this, I suppose you'd call it summer, but we had this terrible heat wave recently, and I do not do well with heat. So in the past, I've just, used alcohol to try and get myself to sleep, to at least not struggle too much with the whole process, but now I've stopped quit drinking that is, and I suppose I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here, but one of the other points of my my health goal is to continue to stop drinking, and I have done, so I'm pretty happy with that. I still haven't drunk yet this year, but anyway, we've been having this heat wave, and the other day it was like 35 degrees, which I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. It's almost body temperature, and this is, it's becoming more common in the UK, but we don't have things like air conditioning, and we're used to the weather just being miserable and cold, so it's quite shocking for the system. Like our houses and our buildings in general are built to retain heat, so it's not too fun at night time particularly. But with my good sleep routine, I've been doing okay with this. So I've gone over alcohol, and I've been continuing with the gym. I haven't been making a lot of progress recently. It's more just like staying consistent. I don't want to push myself too much, and while I do get there quite early, my sessions are generally only half an hour long, because I like to then get home and do my chores and such. But because we're coming up to the summer now, and I have lots of time to take off of work, I think I'm just going to take mornings off for the foreseeable future, and this will give me more time in the morning to spend at the gym, then do any chores afterwards, so I only have to work something like 3.5 hours a day for the next 4 months or so. I've got quite a lot of holiday to take. Anyway, on to my wealth, and that is no progress whatsoever with like a part-time job or anything. I guess I can't be bothered at the moment. Because I have no driving goal to, let's say, need a lot of money all of a sudden, it's hard to motivate myself to do something like this. The only thing I'd be saving for is some abstract retirement in, 40 years' time or something. But my investments have been going quite well, mainly because the market is just on fire at the moment for some ridiculous reason. So I've got it written down here. My investments are currently at £49,893. Now, my goal for the end of the year was £50,000, so I'm very close. I think the last month my investments returned me more than my actual job did, which I would say is a bit worrying because, are we expecting some sort of huge financial crash soon? We'll have to see what happens, but let's say all the global conflicts end next month or something, so the Ukraine, Middle East, in general, etc. Like the markets will probably just go to the moon, and we'll all make it until the next crisis. But I'm pretty happy with how that's been going. Like, how can you not be happy? And, if I do massively exceed that that goal, perhaps I should put a new goal on by the end of the year. Perhaps like an overall net worth goal instead of just my investments. But yeah, on to the next one. So that's personal growth or personal development. And well, I'm a bit disappointed with my my lack of pumping out videos on this channel. But then other things have been going on. So I've mentioned in other videos, but I've been slowly talking to my manager about the concept of creating some sort of channel or online content for the kind of thing I do at work, mainly because then it gives me an excuse to film YouTube videos at work and get paid for it. But he's been very receptive of it, and I hope that's something I'll be able to at least try. And it doesn't matter if it's successful or not, at least initially, because, well, I'm just making it for myself, and I'll be given the time at work to practice these skills, so that'll be quite nice. But we've talked about other things, me and my manager, so other things we can do within our role for some external commercial work, which should be quite interesting. So we'll see where that goes. But otherwise, though, I haven't really started developing or learning any new skills. It's something I really should look into for all this extra holiday that I seem to have all of a sudden. Well, I've always known that I have to take it, but I thought maybe I'd have a plan by the time I was forced to take it. But yeah, that sort of leads on to one of my worries, though, about how everything is going kind of smoothly at the moment. What I've found is this month has just blazed past quickly. The first 4 months of the year felt like a whole year to me, and now the last month I don't really remember a lot of it. I've only really put out a few videos, and I've not progressed much at work or in my personal life. The only real progress has been through my investment returns, and that's just a passive thing. So yeah, it's disappointing, but it does confirm my, well, at least it works to confirm my theory that when I'm just coasting through life and just not really, doing anything productive or anything at all, when I'm doing that, then time seems to, or at least my perception of time seems to just speed up, and, the whole month has gone, then the whole season, then the whole year. So I need to keep myself more busy in order to not waste all my time, I suppose. Do I have any new goals? Well, I haven't had any to think about. I suppose my AI course that I'm on is sort of a goal. It's going okay, but I feel like I'm not taking it seriously enough. But it's still early days with that. Things are very slow, and most of the people on the course are taking it even less seriously than me. So we're a few months in now, and someone asked a question in one of the sessions, and they were like, they said they were enjoying the session, but they do want to know how to access the AI software. And I'm like, what have you been doing for the last few months? What? Oh well. But yeah, at least it gives me the confidence that I'm not doing the worst on the course compared with other people. But yeah, on to the other thing I've been thinking about a bit recently, and that is just the state of YouTube. And by that I mean other content creators. I was looking at my subscriptions the other day, so all the channels that I'm subscribed to on my personal channel, and I realised that quite a lot of them, well, they don't exist anymore, so they must have deleted their channels, or they've stopped uploading, or they've just deleted or privated all their videos. And this is a bit disappointing. But I guess they all have their reasons. So I'll go over a few examples quickly. So the very first channel that the channel that finally inspired me to start making these videos was a guy, I think he was called something Arbiter, so based on the Halo games. I can't remember the exact name now because he deleted the channel. And he only had 5 or 6 subscribers, and I was one of the early ones. And it was just a guy making videos in his car, commenting over some Halo gameplay about, I don't know, just his life, I suppose. And I just found it so interesting. He didn't get really more than sort of 5 or 6 views for most videos, but I was one of the viewers. And he just seemed like a really down-to-earth, well, he seemed like a bit of a crazy guy, but I just like to hear his stories. He was just living in his car on Florida somewhere, and it just seems like he survived off drinking protein shakes and going for walks and washing himself in the sea. But yeah, his channel has been deleted, which is a shame, because he seemed so enthusiastic about starting to take YouTube seriously towards the end. Maybe he's made another channel and he's trying to chase the algorithm, but I guess I'll never find it. Another one is General Normie. Some of you might have seen his channel. It's very similar to mine, but he's like a young Zoomer commenting over Minecraft footage, talking about things that are sort of personal to him and I suppose his generation. And he was doing quite well. He had quite a lot of videos, over 100 subscribers, maybe a few hundred. But all of a sudden I see that his channel has just disappeared from my subscriptions, which again is a big shame. Another one, there was, I really should have written these down actually. It was David Gets Creating, I think, or Dave Gets Creating. And his niche was talking about how he'd quit his really high paying job in order to start creating things, so YouTube content, music and such. And he was doing really well. He had some very successful videos, but he hasn't uploaded for a month. Maybe he's working on something else, or maybe he's just not found the success that he wanted to on YouTube. But I'm glad that he's at least left his videos there for posterity. And another channel, again, I can't remember the exact name. It was called something like Working Class Finance or something along those lines. But it was like he was like an Australian or perhaps New Zealand Zoomer talking about finance from the perspective of a young person just entering the workforce. And again, I found that really, really interesting, how he was putting all the effort into these videos and just giving his opinions on these things. Like, it's really refreshing clicking on a video and finding it's not AI these days. But I checked his channel recently and he's removed all of his videos, which is a shame. Perhaps he's working on something else, or again, perhaps he didn't find the success he wanted to on YouTube. But yeah, everyone seems to have their reasons, I suppose, or they must have their reasons as to why they've done this. When it comes to this channel, I think whatever happens, I'd like to just keep everything up, and even if I do transition onto other channels, I'd like to keep this one as my forever channel, where I'm always uploading my occasional thoughts, my reviews of my life, something I can look back on and then, remember how I was at that point in my life. Because, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but I am a bit worried that I've forgotten a lot of my life. But I'll talk a bit more about that in the future, I think. But anyway, this was kind of 2 videos in one, since I dragged out that final point for such a long period of time. But it's great to be up here talking again, uploading some content. It always feels so good after you've put something together and posted it. But anyway, that's enough ranting for me for now. Thank you for listening if you've somehow got to the end of this, and I'll see you in the next one.